Okay, this camera records 15-minute segments. So now I'm back on the ride here, just about to hit the bike path. Ortega, this is Ortega Ridge here, and then this is the bike path that goes over to Summerland. Currently under construction on the freeway, and this thing is a nightmare. It's a beautiful bike path that somebody planted these vines here on the right, and the roots have uprooted the pavement, so you get a really rough ride. I mean, it's just so unnecessary that I guess the bike path's maybe 12 years old. We used to have to go up and over the hill, which was kind of a, sketchy, being a narrow road. I remember one time we were going up from this side, from the Santa Barbara side, which is steeper and narrower, and it was raining and muddy, and I remember this big truck started to slide towards us, It was pretty hairy. But look at this mess here. We got two bike lanes, one going one way. This one on the right here is down to a half a lane. And everybody rides fast, going downhill. It's a lot of fun. But here you've got all these roots torn up the bike path. So you're bouncing along, you can see it there. And then a blind turn there. I've never witnessed an accident, but I have seen quite a few close calls there. And anyway, there's death, taxes, and road work that seem to be going on all the time. Okay, now we're in Summerland. The post office just past that on the left. There's a little community down there to the right. And oh yeah, Moonstone Beach, I think it is. A little beach there at Summerland. A beautiful beach. Parking, very nice beach. And, there's this new gas station. I think it's under new ownership. And here it is, the Nugget there on the left. That's one of the oldest ones around. Very, very, I haven't been there, but I used to go there all the time. Good deal. President Clinton, when he was president, he had a place over there on Padero Lane, which is nearby on the right. Here's your firehouse. And I think, besides McDonald's, I heard he went to the Nugget a time or two. And there's another popular restaurant there that used to be the Yellow House. No, not the Yellow House. But there's another really popular, good restaurant. So Summerland's a nice place to visit. There used to be a Summerland market, and then that moved over here. A guy named Joe, a Dutch guy, Joe, owned a Summerland market, and then he built a new one way here at the other end of town near Greenwell. It's up here on the left. Joe, I remember when in 1980 he had some teenage daughters I had my eye on. Shouldn't have had my eye on them, but now everybody's old. Me, I'm old. So, and then there was a lady right there on the left. There was a lady, elderly lady, probably 60 or something. And I remember she had a copy machine. And in the 80s, most of us didn't have our own copy machine. So I'd come down there and get copies made. Okay, so now we're coming up to, there's a new community. Well, it's an older, fairly new, but older. It's been here a while. See that rock wall? And then they put glass above, or plastic or something, on top of the 6 or 8 foot wall. So I guess they can see, and then maybe they get some sound abatement. Now, coming up here, you got a little rise here, and this is Padero Lane. If you make a right turn up here at the stop sign, it's beautiful, Padero Lane. And I saw a guy had a heart attack and died right there. And I saw a cat run over right there too. I always remember, I just saw a kitten that looked like it was just 9 months old and got hit. You know, it just breaks your heart to see something like that. Never mind the overweight guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, that was sad too. They didn't seem like they worked on him a long time. Maybe they got his heart going, but it didn't look too good. Anyway, cruising along here, probably 25, 30 miles an hour, a little bit of a downhill in this section here. And when I've ridden this hundreds of times, I would say. You know, I've been riding a bike now about 21 years. I started when I was almost 60 years old. Now here on the left is Toro Canyon. This is the base of Toro Canyon where that car is coming out. And I remember I got into it with a neighbor of mine right there who I got squeezed right here, and I started yelling at him, and he stopped, and it turned out we knew each other. Jeff Dunstone. He lived at the top. He's got a big white house. Huge house. If you know where to look, you can see it. It's the only thing on a ridge there in Toro Canyon. Big square thing that he built. And he was a little older than me. I remember he said in 1956, I think it was. I was 13. He was probably 17. And he was bull riding in the Coliseum. And bull riding, can you imagine? That's the kind of guy he was. So anyway, the horn, I guess they were cut off. The horns weren't sharp, but he got hit in the head, and he didn't let go. Just kept on riding. Anyway, he passed away recently, I heard. Just suddenly, I heard. Don't know what happened. But, you know, when you're near 80, like I am, you expect your peers to be disappearing, and you expect to be disappearing yourself. There's the polo field there on the left, and the apartments further up. When I moved up here, there were no apartments, and it really did spoil the look. I mean, to me, you used to look over there and see nothing but grass. But they did a nice job, and it's housing for people. And they still have the polo games, and they have car shows here. They have a lot of activities. Now, the rides that I used to do, you can make a left turn where that car is coming out. And then make another right turn just a little ways up on East Valley Road or Highway 192. It's an alternative way, and I think a lot of it, there's still portions that aren't paved yet, but they've repaved a lot of 192, as well they should, you know, with the taxes they collect from these mansions around here. These people are paying a lot in property tax. So just sailing along. It'll be about 6 more minutes. Bear with me. I probably should have just played some music, but I'm jabbering away, recalling the past, and hopefully interjecting a tip or two. Mostly, this is pretty safe here. You know, the worst of it You know, the most hazardous parts of the ride are past me now. This is another, Padero Lane is right there. You can, you know, where I call it the first time. And then if you turned right there and then left again, that's Santa Claus Lane. And there's a good hamburger place there, Padero Beach Grill. It's really, that has been historic. I remember when I was in grammar school in it must have been in the 50s, we had a show and tell day, and I still remember a kid saying he went up there and they saw Santa Claus, you know, because Santa Claus Lane, they used to have a big Santa Claus, and I think it was a snowman, big giant thing up there. And so that was an attraction for quite some time, and you know, it went through several renditions, and you know, where it didn't seem to be taking off or doing too well. Now, a friend of mine is trying to open a cannabis store, and that's just causing all kinds of ruckus. You know, people don't want it, and it's true that the traffic can be bad there, but recently they've been working on the road, so that just makes it worse. They've been working on that main road. Now, maybe when they get the main road done, the traffic won't be so bad, but nobody wants the traffic, and the cannabis has its own issues, you know, and my friend says, well, they got liquor stores everywhere, and so I'm for legalizing everything. It doesn't do any good. The drug war, you know, hasn't really done anything, hasn't helped anything. And I don't use anything. I mean, I used to drink too much, you know, and I gave that up. But people are going to do it. You know, it's fun. You only live once. You might as well try something here and there. Although I don't really recommend it, because you might get hooked and have a big problem. But anyway, most people, I think, can, you know, get away with it. I don't know. Well, here I am. Okay, now I went out into the road because it's so rough there that I'm out of the bike lane. I checked the back, and I'm probably going 25 to almost 30. I'm hammering away, and it's still rough up here, right there. So I just stayed in the left lane, made sure there was nobody in back of me, and I take one last look back, and nobody was coming up on me. Oh yeah, there's a motel there. I got another story for you. In the 60s, there was not the Motel 6. That wasn't here, but there was I think it was called the Reef. It's still maybe called the Reef, and it was just one story. But I came up with a friend of mine's sister. I'm going to have to make this fast. This has been about 1960, 68, no, 60, almost 1970. I was living in Long Beach, and I liked my friend a lot. We were friends, but he had a sister who's 4 years younger than me. You know, it was like, oh, she's too young. But ever since she was a little kid, I was attracted to her. And then nothing ever came of it, but I got her to come up here with me once from Long Beach. I had a Mercedes 190 SL 56, and came up here, and the idea was to come to Santa Barbara and head back to Long Beach. Okay, here we go this way. This is going to be over. Anyway, the car broke down. I saw the Reef Motel, and I was thinking, yeah, you know, but she said, no, we're hitchhiking back. So that was the end of that. Okay, the 15 minutes is about up. This is tricky here. I may not, yeah, it's like, here you go. I may